Good morning, everybody. This is Richard. I'm a beekeeper for about 7 years. Basically, when you order your bees, you're going to get them in a box like this. This is going to be 5 frames in here. This is a used one. You can see it's kind of dirty there. That's because there's old propolis and wax in it where the bees were. And that's what it's going to come in. So you'll have 5 frames. Now there's frames right there. So this frame is an 8-frame hive. Usually people use a 10-frame hive, but this is what I had handy just now. So you take 5 of those frames and you put it in a box like this over a bottom board, which goes on here. Now, the bottom board has 2 sides. One's a 3/4 inch, which I just had there, and then the opening for this one would be 3/8 of an inch. And that's bee space. That's the amount of space that bees need to keep from building comb where you don't want it. We have our bottom board here. What we want to do, make sure there's a little bit of a slant, a little higher in the back than it is here, so that the rain doesn't go up into it. Right here, let me just move this. Let's see. This is going to be your brood chamber. Now the 5 frames will go in there. We'll replace 5 of these frames that are in here. So, like I said, there's a drawn comb, and so they have brood and honey in those. There'll be 3 frames of brood and honey, and 2 frames of other stuff, like it may be just another honey frame, and maybe just an undrawn comb. So that's what you got there. This is what we call the brood chamber. It's also known as a super. In this case, it'll be on the bottom, so the brood are usually started in the bottom frame. Now you can put another one on top of here, but let's just do that. Let's go get another box over here and see if I can do it with one hand. And in this case, this would be a super. Now, this is where your bees can also live and be part of the brood chamber, or it can be the honey chamber, a honey super. Now, you can just harvest your honey from there. In my area, we usually have 2 deep boxes for our brood chamber because it gets pretty cold here, down at about 16 degrees, and the bees need that warm area, lots of food in that second deep for them to get through the winter. And they kind of start from the bottom and they move up as time goes by. Now, when you start, you're going to need 2. Yeah, because if something goes wrong, one of the worst things to do when you start beekeeping is to get disappointed by the fact that, hey, my bees died. Well, if you have 2 hives, and I got my finger in the way, this is all unedited, folks. I get 2 hives, then I can take the resources from the other hive and put it in the one I want to save. So there's that, and then there's also a stick that you can put in here that has a smaller opening. I'm not sure I'm having trouble with my finger getting away of the lens. Anyway, you put a stick in there, and that'll be a place where you can have the bees have a smaller place so they don't have to protect as much area when they're not as strong as a bigger hive. And there's other times when you want to reduce the size too, if you have some kind of problem going on. You know, you want those bees to be able to guard that opening. Now, there's one more thing here. Let's do that. I'm going to show you what we call a migratory cover. Now, this is something that most of the commercial beekeepers use. And the reason for that is you can put a strap around the whole thing and move it. And commercial beekeepers often move their hives from one space to another. There are smaller supers that are lighter weight, or like I said, 10-frame supers that are heavier weight. So there's 3 types of supers. There's a shallow, a medium, well, I gotta get admitted, a medium super and a deep super. So those can all be used for honey or brood chambers, depending on what you want to use it for. So there's that, and then there's another thing you want to have. Right now, the bees aren't here because it's so cold out, but I have a watering station near my hives so that the bees come and get their water when they need it. Just a little bit of gravel in there to make it so that they don't drown, because if you have it deeper, then you will have some drowning bees. So yeah, we have that. Let's go over here and I'll show you I wasn't going to do this, but I want to walk over here and do it anyway, because I kind of like you to see it. I don't have an inner cover out here because I didn't want them to get wet, but I do have a cover here that's your telescoping cover that most hobbyists and small beekeepers use. There's an inner cover goes in. It's kind of like this, but it has a hole in the middle of it and another little entrance at the end, and it can't get wet because it's not painted. But in here you can put a bottle, a jar to feed your bees. After having several losses, I'm regrouping and planning on redoing my bees and all my resources and get going next year. And since I have drawn comb and I have bees already in hives, next year I should get a good harvest of honey just like I did this year. I got 400 pounds, so that's great. And get a little video out here for you to enjoy. So hope you do. And thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe, watch all the videos you want on these days off, and have a good day. Looks like the mailman's come, and I have to go get the mail.